the March 2023 meeting of the Belleville Area Board of Trustees come to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we do have a pretty good full house in here, but officially we'll look to our secretary, Alma, to call the roll.
Fleming,
Here.
Tarika,
Present.
Peters,
Here.
Priest, here, Stoudemire,
Here.
Hughes Grubbs here, Jehevitz,
Shehevitz is excused absence. Well, we have a quorum and we'll move along. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
And it's been moved by Jariga, supported by Priest, that we adopt the agenda that has been circulated. Any comments, questions, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying nay. Hearing there's no nays and the agenda has been approved unanimously. Now we move to the approval of the February 14th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. That was Valentine's Day. And the minutes were in your packet and remain in your packet. I hope all of you had a chance to look them over. You can take a minute now. A motion to approve the minutes is in order.
I move that we move the minutes as written.
It has been moved by Priest
I'll
and
second that.
supported by Jariga that the minutes for February 14th, 2023 be approved. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying no. The ayes have it. With no dissenting votes, we will move to approve the minutes. We're now on item 5, which is public comment, and we do have 2 members of the public. And I
Madam Chair,
recognize
I
Barbara
would
Miller.
like to invite the board members to the Art Council trip to the DIA on April the 8th, Saturday, April the 8th. It's unfortunately the Saturday before Easter. And some people can't attend because they have other Easter activities. But the bus is leaving the Van Buren Township Hall at 11. We arrive at the DIA at noon. The DIA will have a docent greet us. And then you can take a tour. Those interested can take a tour of the DIA led by the docent. Then at 2, then we break for lunch. Lunch is on your own. Then at 2:15, we meet with Elliot Wilhelm in the Crystal Gallery, which is the coffee shop right off the Detroit Film Theater. And he will talk to us about the movie, The Conformist. And Elliot Wilhelm, and talking with him on the phone, he said that this is a movie for our time because it's about a young man who gets involved with the fascists in Italy and then is recruited to become an assassin. And therein lies his problems, and they get significant. And it's gotten all kinds of awards. It's a great movie, The Conformist. And you're welcome to attend. We have a bus for 50. To this point, I have sold about 15 tickets. we have to sell 30 to make the minimum on the bus. And, we get back to, the township hall at 6. The tickets, including everything but your lunch, is $20. And for 25, you get a membership to the, art council for the year, for the balance of 23.
Will we be able to have a little bit time off to see the Diego Rivera room?
Oh, absolutely,
That's my happy spot.
absolutely.
Always have to go there.
Oh,
And in fact, they have just special doses for the Diego Rivera frescoes.
Love it, love it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Any other public comment?
I'll just add that I happily, as a member of the Belleville Fires Auxiliary, dropped off scholarship information to the library to pass out to our local scholars from the area.
Thank you.
We thank you for that. And are glad both of you are here to represent the public in person. Now we move to committee reports. And our first committee is the building committee, and our building committee chair is on an excused absence. So I guess there's not a formal report, but if there's issues to be discussed, now is the time.
Mary Jo, can you discuss that thing across the street at the Methodist or Baptist Church?
It's
With Dean about that, and,
if you look at
It's
the
working
director's
through it.
report.
okay. But Dean basically says that he has photos of the excavation they did in that area, and do not show any pipes, anything, so.
So we have evidence that
Good.
it seems no longer to be a library issue. I don't know how we can get this finished up. Of course, it is now getting to be, maybe it'll get to be the season when they can do cement work. It's still cold.
Yeah.
But this is not, it's being held up, not from
Spoke to
our,
the city and they mentioned that the Baptist minister has proof that there's pipes in there, and obviously there's not. And he thinks that O'Neill Construction, who paid for the job, the Blue Ribbon did the job, and that they destroyed the pipes because they tested to drain the baptismal font, and it flooded the sinks and stuff in the other bathrooms. So that's the issue. And there's saying that we're liable. I mean, the construction company's liable. And we have proof that there's nothing there.
What evidence does he have?
He's
This
got
what
old
happened?
drawings,
Old drive.
so. But then, I don't know,
So
Yeah,
there, but there could have been
everything's up in the air, and
alteration.
But Dean is trying to.
say this again,
Dean is trying to pursue like
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah,
so.
and I just told the city, so if we can pursue this, we'd like to take it off the library books, and if not, the city can pay for it, and so he. Just came to attention, he
Yeah.
started listening.
I said, what?
yeah, it needs to be resolved from our issues with the
Right.
building.
Right, so.
So it's still
Still
an issue.
An
Still up in the
issue,
air,
yeah.
but then again, we have to wait for warm weather.
Well, to do the
And,
job, which
I'll-
I hope we can do the
I'll
job.
call Blue Ribbon and double check on it, see, Matt Treater. Okay,
So that's where we're at with that. Otherwise, it's just, building stuff that we're gonna have to deal with between now and the end of time. So, we got a couple of circuits on some of the LED lights that needed to be replaced. So the electrician came and fixed that. We had our library fire sprinkler system inspected in January. The company's gonna be out again next week, but the hose valves need to be, I'm learning all kinds of new things at the library. The hose valves need to be tested and
Yeah, good.
exercised, so that's going to take place next week. Also, all the majority of our end panel signs on the book stacks. We've done a lot of shifting since we moved in. Kind of like when you move into a house and you just kind of put everything
Yeah,
where it will fit. We've had time to be able to, you know, move everything, shift everything around to the way we want it. So we're gonna get all of those signs updated, so.
And there is a fairly extensive, the things that Mary Jo has just spoken to, she has included in her director's report. So that takes care of the building committee is, obviously the building committee is not meeting and again, we will have building issues from now till the end of time, so. With whether we have a building committee meeting or not. Bylaws committee, John,
No report.
no report. Finance committee, Tanya.
No report.
Board marketing committee, Alma.
No report.
Board personnel committee, Linda. Mary Jo, we may have an item that is not exactly, the committee hasn't met, but we have an item we may want to discuss.
I'm sorry that this is so sudden. I spoke with our rep from MERS yesterday. And he was able to just turn this around on a dime for us. I wanted to bring it up to you today, bring it to your attention. And it potentially can be something you can just vote on tonight and be done with it. But if you want, we can take, you know, look at it again next month.
If you,
Our library has a regular retirement plan through MERS. We also have a plan for employees, a deferred compensation program that's voluntary. So if someone wants to put some extra money away, they can. We've had that historically, it's been through ICMA. ICMA, it's at a year or two ago sold out to Mission Square. And we've been not getting the best representation from Mission Square, as far as a service rep and customer service, etc. They changed their address for where we were supposed to remit our checks and didn't tell us. This is not a good sign. Sounds like that way. And this has been something I've been kind of thinking about for a while. I would like to basically transfer our funds from Mission Square to MERS, again, MERS manage it instead. So basically, this is not anything that the library doesn't, it's just a pass through on our part. It's not something that we pay into. It's a voluntary program, you know, for
that
the employees pay. For the employee side of this, it'll be a little bit easier because like they'll have one company to deal with, one place to log in and look at their information. MERS also charges a lower fee to employees for managing the money. So I'm going to pass out there is a really big long resolution. I'll pass that out, please. Wow. And then there's a participation agreement.
again, for the public, MERS stands for Municipal Employees Retirement System. What the other one, what does that stand for?
Well, Mission Square now. It used to be ICMA, which just, I think stood for ICMA. I don't think they had a.
Now, what is this?
That's like the part, this is like the attachment to the resolution.
Generally. Well.
MERS requires a board approval for this, so that's the resolution.
And we,
And is there a time element for you on this since? we
Well,
have not-
his concern was it's taking a long, because we're not the only company doing, or the only governmental unit doing this. It's taking a while for Mission Square to respond. So we want to make sure we're giving them plenty of time and notice. So even if we had a preliminary approval tonight, then I could go ahead and inform Mission Square that we're doing this. Or if you wanted to just vote for the resolution, then I could basically do the same thing.
What's the pleasure of the board? Ordinarily, we don't do things on the spur that we haven't looked at.
You have any recommendations?
Is there any downside?
Well, I don't think so, but
It doesn't sound like
It's not like it's costing us
it's not costing
money,
us money.
so.
And
It's
it won't
real.
cost our employees anything else.
Right.
and their fee is lower than the other.
And MERS will do a better job. MERS will come out and talk to our staff about their plans and give them a little bit of, a little more hand holding and extra information.
We have an established relationship with the municipal employees retirement system.
You manage the state's retirement.
Quite possibly. They do a lot of municipalities. Do they do anything for Detroit?
They don't do Detroit, but they do like Wayne County Community Colleges for my pharmacy.
Oh.
The state has state employees retirement system, a separate one, but this is municipal, like local level entities.
So is this like a brokerage house? Is that what this is, like a Charles Schwab or a Fidelity or
Sort of, but it's for
or
municipalities.
what is for state?
They're going, yeah, public,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
public entities, municipal public entities.
So
Seems
will we
like you're
be-
being financially responsible doing this. I mean, helping them to be financially responsible.
Right.
So
we will be
can't see a
transferring
downside.
our retirement funds.
It would be the deferred comp funds from Mission Square to MERS.
I think, Mary Jo has been pretty clear on what's in here.
Usually we would take time to go over this, but I trust her judgment and it sounds be realistic. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the MERS retirement system.
I have a question. Is there a transfer fee or anything?
No. Not to my knowledge.
I second the motion.
It's been moved that we moved and seconded, moved by Chiriga and supported by Studemeier.
Questions first?
That, yeah, we'll have questions. I just wanted to state the motion to be sure. Are we moving that we
Yes.
accept this resolution, that we move this resolution? Okay. It's on the table and now it's time for discussion.
So Mayor, I see you have a effective date of May 2023, so if we approve today, that gives you plenty of time to.
Yeah, and when I talked with MERS on the phone, I said, it probably won't be till the middle of May. So there should be plenty of time.
But you're anticipating that it might take time on the other end with our existing entity. It's,
So the old company knows this is happening. They don't. know.
Not yet, because I needed
So do-
board
You
approval.
don't see, you don't foresee any issues or
I don't
anything.
think so.
No.
This should be a standard thing.
They'll be able to roll any money that they've saved in the other,
Yeah, we'll all roll into the new one.
it's automatically rolled.
And they have the same policy too, if some of our employees don't want to take it, and then their spouse has a better insurance and stuff, is that?
The specific plan is voluntary. This is a totally,
Okay, all right,
we have a regular retirement.
oh, okay,
Plan through, it's it's the government equivalent of a 401k, and it's through MERS. And where the employee puts in 5% and we put in 10%.
okay.
So this would be on top of that, and
on top of that, this is a
if someone wanted
voluntary.
to say, I'm gonna take out
Extra.
$100 a check and put it into this.
Yeah.
In addition to.
Yeah.
And this is similar to the current plan.
And it's similar to the current plan. It's better, yeah.
And better for us, better, yeah, management of it is.
Do they have,
Better for the employee, really, because
do they have
a
more
bit more hand holding.
investment
And
options?
answers.
Is there more investment options through this? company, do you know? or not?
It's probably equivalent, but they have a lot of, they have specific plans tailored to people's age and expected age of retirement.
Right,
So if you're not experienced investing, you
exactly.
can say, okay, I'm 38 years old, I'm gonna retire when I'm 65.
Put it
And they'll have
Freedom
the
fund.
specific plan, that goes with that.
And it sounds like there's people that can help them decide what they want to do. Some kind of counseling or support or something like that. Yeah, that's good.
And you'll have like a seminar or something.
We're gonna bring them in May to talk to. Because frankly, I haven't really been pushing the deferred comp too much lately because I know it's just been not where I want it to be.
Do other libraries use these guys?
MERS, oh yeah.
MERS is the basic kind of organizing for libraries
Yeah.
that are seen as municipal entities.
Try.
So we get
Trust
in
me.
your emails, you should be getting stuff from MERS. Most of us on the board get emails. I don't know if
I'm not sure.
Dan got, I don't know.
I don't know if the whole board knows or if just you because you're.
Oh.
Not sure.
I get a bunch of stuff. Oh, you don't?
Probably because you're sure.
Oh. Oh, I didn't realize I was special.
We all know.
Let's. Spam again.
Right. I would just assume that somebody else have that, but anyway.
We've been using MERS since the beginning of the district library. I mean, we've been using them since 2010.
Okay.
Do we have a high participation rate among our staff?
For
Or
this voluntary plan.
this one, it could be better, so I
Oh,
think about
because-
4 of us are doing it, so.
You'd like to encourage it.
And we're going to also encourage it amongst, like if you work. If you work 20 or more hours, you're eligible to. Do this, so. We do have a lot of part-time employees who. Just don't necessarily have a retirement plan.
So we have a motion and a second on the table. Are there more questions? Are we? I'm sensing we're ready for a vote. All those in favor of the motion to approve the supplemental retirement program resolution for MERS? Please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it, and we have taken care of that business. I agree with you, John. Ordinarily, we do something.
Well, and I did not expect such a fast response.
Yeah.
Well, it's good.
Which is a good thing, yeah.
Fast response does indicate that a smoother ride in the relationship. As you will recall, the policy committee, the last meeting, our biggest discussion was around policy issues. And we've had some move forward, and I understand, Dan, you and Mary Jo have talked about this a little bit.
Yeah,
So I think we might have a little bit of a discussion, but I will throw it over to Dan and Mary Jo.
well, yeah, at the last meeting, we kind of walked through, some of the behaviors policy, and we realized that we still needed to, kind of polish it up a little bit, so that's what we have in front of us now, or some of the, corrections that we talked about at the last meeting, but if we want to walk through some of these corrections, we can do that, and if we see more, then we'll do some more wordsmithing on it. So, everything that we changed is highlighted in red. And if we want to go to page 2 under, Roman numeral number 3, rules and personnel behavior, down to letter C. We updated that from the his and hers to the library director's authorized designee. And And under letter E, engaging in proper library activities. Again, we added, using the library's computers or Wi-Fi. And later, a little bit further down, we changed the shall to may. I think there was a lot of discussion last week about that. If there's no questions on that, moving on to page 3. Under number 5. We took staff person. We took that out and we put to do there, removing his and her jobs. So we've added there and removed his and her.
Changes have to be done. Not a whole lot.
And page 4. Under L, harassment. We removed the person and the his and her again and put their jobs, so replace person and his and her with their. And page 5. Under violations and appeals section, number 1. Any patrons who do not comply with a request, removing he or she will be asked to leave the library property for the day. Line item through if he or she refuses, we added the police may be called for anyone refusing to leave the library property. And then the very last page, page 6, under 1. We put in the library directors authorized and removed his and her. So we cleaned it up. I don't know if there's more that people have seen that maybe we missed.
The most consistent change is that about the gender specific pronouns thing. We have straightened that out and then that main issue that we talked about last time, are there? So this is an item that we had a good deal of.
And I did run this by our attorney and she was fine with all of the changes.
Which is what we said last month that we would.
Barbara Miller, so you're a student in jurisprudence also. Did you see anything in that?
I just got it.
Okay, got it, okay.
So if you want to wait another week, I'll look it over.
No, I understand.
You're asking a lawyer.
Barbara Miller, or Barbara, excuse me, Julie, being a student of English, you see anything?
I see 2 things, but I don't think they're necessary to, do
Okay.
you really want to know what they are? They're
Yes.
both on page 6.
Both on
So number 2, authorized was crossed off, but we used authorized as library directors authorized.
I
Throughout.
crossed that off because it seemed like it was too much of a good thing. It was,
But then you go down to D and we left it off again. So if you're actually going for consistency, you'd want to have it in all the places, even if it seems redundant. Or just go to the library director's designee and get rid of the authorized. I don't know if you're giving them a badge, Mary Jo, or.
yes, they all have been just.
So if you wanted to simplify, you could just mix. authorized around the entire document, right? Go the other way, one way or the other, I think, the consistency issue, but. It
So
doesn't
it
change the
would be
meaning of
in
anything.
D, what you're saying for consistency in D would be library directors
Designee.
authorized.
But yeah, either say library directors authorized designee or just library directors designee.
Take the one and, take the one and one
Mary
out.
Jo gets tired of seeing the word authorized, so I think she wanted to
Might get it eliminated then, yeah.
it's 6 of one, half dozen, it doesn't change the
No,
meaning.
you're right. It's
Unless you get a
just
badge.
that authorized is on page 2. As well as back on that page, so.
I think there are probably more authorized than not authorized, so why don't we just get authorized everywhere?
Doesn't designate assume that you did authorize them because you designated them, so you, it's
For
redundant.
consistency's
But I
sake.
also gave them a secret handshake,
So, yeah,
Or they're gonna,
but I'm okay with getting it authorized, and I think that's an easy enough
just putting one and not taking them all off.
things to make sure that it says that.
The
So
gender
there would
neutral
be-
language is excellent though.
And authorized into item D.
So what are we doing?
Which way are we going? Would you take it out or put it in?
We're gonna put it in.
The
The policy is not long enough.
On the second,
It's only on page 6 then, those are the only two.
That's the only two that were.
Yeah, that you need to add. Take back the crossed off one and then add authorized to the last bit.
All right.
You
You asked her.
Well,
I got it.
Fine.
I do a global signature, global delete. Right, 2 buttons.
Well, there you go. That's what I would have done.
so the maker of the, and we don't have a motion on this yet.
Oh, required. There's a conflict here, one is me and one is Sharon,
Well, if they're gonna be leaving the building, then they would have to.
may be required.
But if they are required to leave the building, they shall not be in the property. They can't go outside and they shall need to be there.
I don't know.
We had this discussion last.
Yeah, we talked about that too, that it,
That was-
If the may would require them to leave, if you said, yes, you're leaving the building now.
Then you
the
shall, yeah.
You can't, this does not mean you get to stand outside on the lawn. It
Right.
means you leave the property.
Right,
So
right.
the may then insists on the shall.
Right.
But the may gives you the flexibility of removing them in the first place.
right,
Right.
but we don't wanna tell someone they can't leave and then have them look at our policy and say, well, I may leave, I.
Right.
Or remain, but I'm not going to.
Then you call the police because you have that line.
Is there a motion? This policy, to adopt this policy?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the behavior policy with
As
the
amended.
revisions.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Priest and supported by Dorita that we accept the patrons behavior policy before us as amended. Policies are so much fun. Is there any other questions? Then all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying nay. The motion carried. So we got done with some business and these reports, and the last report is the art committee, which I don't have a report on. Don't,
We got a quilt show coming up.
yeah, we're not gonna. And
Not gonna what?
Just for that one day, right?
yeah, they're just there for one day. The chair of the committee checked and, they didn't feel that a long-term, exhibit of the quilts was appropriate. It was too hard to protect them.
So they're gonna be up and there's gonna be a docent.
Yeah.
Or several.
Will this be in the newspaper also?
Yes.
Advertising?
Yes,
We'll buy an ad for that, right?
March 25th, 10 AM to 6 PM.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a one day. And it is the notice of that is in your packet. Or the hand of Wayne County Quilt.
How are they gonna have those on tables or hanging? You know?
I think it's in the big meeting room.
It's in the code that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Do they bring stands?
Mostly, I think probably some stands and tables. Michelle Montoya was working with them on it.
Okay, all right.
but they did not feel that hanging them in a temporary exhibit space was a
And they
good
call it a
idea.
mini quilt show.
Because it's only one day. So that does not require any action, but that is an update on the perspective of the arts, and I believe that concludes our committee reports. So we now move to item 7, which is accounts payable. And you have the accounts payable list in your packets. And this is more, we're kind of back and we're to our new normal now. We do have a little more business to take care of in this larger building with a larger staff. We have an elevator to take care of that we never had before.
How many staff do we have now?
Well,
Approximately 40 to 42.
but
A
12,
lot of them are, but a lot of them are part-time. About 75% are part-time.
Do we have anything like volunteers at all?
We use some volunteers from time to time for special projects, for example, Harvest Fest, where we need extra help. The Friends of the Library are always looking for volunteers to help them.
John, I'm asking where you're going with this. Is this germane to the accounts payable? Are your questions?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, let's do accounts payable and then in the director's report, we can talk about other kinds of things.
Madam Chair, I motion that we approve the accounts payable as presented.
It's been moved by Studemeyer and supported by Priest that we accept the accounts payable as presented. And any questions germane to the accounts payable are in order right now before we take a vote? But I see that it's time for us to take a vote. All those in favor of accepting the approving accounts payable, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying nay. I hear there are no dissenting votes, so we have handled that business. We have approved the accounts payable. And now we are to the director's report, and some of our general questions are appropriate in this area, but we'll turn it over first to Mary Jo.
So we've had a lot of really good programs, coming up. Really excited. I'm sorry Joy isn't here to talk about this as well. We are partnering with the Ypsilanti District Library for a family read together, community read together. It's in celebration of March's Reading Month. So we have a lot of programs here at our library, and the Ypsi Library has programs as well. We started with a kickoff program this past Saturday. We've got a book club. We've got a grandparents story time. The book is a children's book. It's called Maisie Chen's Last Chance. And we're doing just a lot of programs surrounding that. There are drop-in programs, craft programs. So I do have a flyer in your board pack that talks all about this. So this is our first try at doing something like this, and we're really grateful to the Ypsilanti District Library for assisting us. They've been doing something like this for quite some time, so it's really nice to be able to work with our neighbor library on something. As we talked about already, the Quilt Guild is doing their show on March 25th. I don't have a flyer for it yet, but I just wanted to let you know about our guest speaker on Wednesday, April 5th at 6:30 p.m. Lisa Lidwinski is the founder of Sister Pie Bakery in Detroit, and she's going to be here. So I think that's going to be a really good one.
She has a cookbook too, because I got it.
Yeah. So that was appropriate that we're talking about her today, because today is National Pie Day. Not quite the same kind of pie, but
Not that.
not that kind of pie. Yeah.
People have been celebrating with this kind of pie.
Had a couple of big storms since our last meeting. The library was very fortunate in that we did not ever lose electricity. So we were able to stay open, and we had quite a few people in our building, and we were
Really
packed
helped
that
the
first day.
community.
There were so many people without power. And I really commend my staff. They turned around on a dime and to make sure that we were accommodating everyone. We threw open the COSAD meeting room downstairs for people to be able to, plug in and charge up their phones and use the computer, use the Wi-Fi. We also did one of our librarians, Jennifer Richardson, did a impromptu story time that morning for the kids and the
sweet.
children's room, and so I think everybody really appreciated that. So I was really happy to be able to see us work that way.
I was one of those affected that didn't have power and came in here and it was really quite impressive how many people, neighbors in my development, they were all sitting in here by the fire. But the building was full and really serving the needs of the community, so that's makes us all feel good that the work on getting a adequate building is really paying off for
We
the
were so
community.
crowded, I had no place to park in the parking lot. I parked at the Methodist church
Wow.
across the street.
Yeah, it was busy.
It was quite crowded.
I know one morning my son got up, he's like, "Can you drop me off at the library?" Because we didn't have any power.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, "Why didn't even think about that?" Yeah.
How many did?
We were without power for almost 3 days.
Wow. Yeah, this was a,
2 days.
it's always, I mean, it's never a good time to be without power, but in the wintertime especially, it's just really, really tough.
Well, a lot
so.
of Belleville was without power, so
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the library had power.
No, I know, it was
a
amazing.
Big deal,
Yeah.
quite honest.
It didn't even blink off here, usually,
Right.
We were without it for 2 days. We're not even 2.
3.
No, 1.5.
And John, we are getting defibrillators for the library,
Did you what?
the AED devices, the
Good, good,
defibrillators.
thank you.
It's gonna take, there's a chip shortage, so there's like a 6-month delay.
Yeah, excellent.
But we're getting the training, the Red Cross training on how to use them, as well as a lot of other first aid, trainings too. So we're gonna make sure that we get everybody trained up.
Thank you.
So that's pending.
I see we had Lawn Mechanical here to replace our control board. Is that under warranty?
I'm not sure. We'll find out. They replaced one piece. It was like they couldn't tell that there was something else that was wrong too, but they couldn't tell until they replaced the one
I
part.
actually see
so.
them in the parking lot quite a bit, and
I joked with them that we're gonna put an office in here for him. So, yeah. So they've got another part on order.
By the time we get all that all set, then there'll be time for regular maintenance.
Yeah.
We have that big long list of maintenance, what year we'll have to do
Do
what.
what?
yeah, yeah.
So we'll always have things to do with this building. But hopefully we'll always see it as a labor of love. This family need is fun. Was fun.
Now the grandparents one, is it just the grandparents going to be reading kids, or are they just gonna be?
I think they're going to be in attendance.
Just
I don't think- yeah.
attendance.
Mhm.
Good. Are there other questions to Mary Jo on our programming or any other issue? John was asking about, volunteers. Was there something in particular that you?
No,
had in
just,
mind?
just wondering if I could have any volunteers other than the Friends of the Library.
Mhm. We have had, like, for the grand opening, we had, people that volunteered, and like Mary Jo said, the Harvest Fest.
In the past, the high school has had, before they could graduate, they've got to put in so much community service. I don't even know if they have that anymore. But I'd like to see high school kids, put in time if they have that.
When we have projects, we try to accommodate that.
Yeah. Good.
The question about the People's Express,
Mhm.
have you heard any more about it, or?
I haven't heard anything, but I don't know if you wanted to share anything since you were. at
You
the-
went to that meeting.
Yeah, I did go to the meeting and, it seemed like the council approved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it seemed like it was a go, no. They were gonna do more advertising, they were gonna try to get more people, it was gonna be free till June. So, it seemed to me they were gonna talk to you again about it, because they wanted to put up some signage.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard from him yet.
Yeah.
Is the stop still here?
Yes.
Still stopping?
Yeah.
Is,
This is the flyer, and I think you have some here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some at City Hall. So that was one of the suggestions to put some flyers out, around.
has anybody noticed, have they done things in the newspaper?
I
I
see
didn't
anything.
notice.
I haven't seen anything either. Or the DDA board, you know, the community board, which would be hard to put enough, I mean, there's not space or time to put enough on that, I don't know.
They did say they've been in business for 20 years, and they have a lot of vehicles, they said like 40 or 50 vehicles.
Sure.
So there's room for growth. I was concerned about the route. It didn't seem like would fill everyone's needs, because it only goes up Belleville Road to Michigan Avenue and then to this over to the
PFC.
transit center, and then to that medical place at St. Joe's, I think. So people were talking about maybe having them expand their route more.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the eminent questions is expanding their ridership, which
Yeah.
they didn't have.
And they need to talk more about how they can deviate from that route by about a mile, they said. So like if somebody wanted to go to Meyer.
Oh, Myers along the route too.
Yeah,
But that's part of the problem. I mean, nobody knows about it.
I
so-
know.
Right.
They really need to have more. They said they were gonna put something in the Independent, but I didn't
So
see
they're
it.
probably still working on stuff.
Mhm.
So we're being cooperative in helping that along, and I hope that it,
They did say they had lifts for handicapped people too.
Handicap accessible.
Yeah.
both you, Linda and John,
Yeah, we
both of
both
you
were.
were at that meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sick that night. I had planned to go, but I was sick. I'm glad that our board was represented, but it's something that we can better serve the community, but it's really not an issue that is the libraries. So I hope that they'll be able to get the word out and be able to make it a successful service.
Cause since the other transit, the other bus, senior transportation went away. I don't think that's coming back. We really do need it.
You were both on the committee.
Well,
But
at
we-
that night, they talked about there wasn't a van anymore for senior transportation. There wasn't any money to fix it.
We've not been notified, yeah.
No, that's all I know from that night.
Yeah.
So. That would be nice to
Thank you, that appropriately went into the general discussion and the items that Mary Jo gave us this time. Oh, yeah, all the kinds of things that came out of COVID that are new normals.
We still provide curbside service. We don't have that many people who you take us up on it, but we still do it. We have a few. It's easy enough to do, so.
We learned to be able to serve people's needs in new ways through the pandemic. So thank you, Mary Jo, thank you, board, for that full discussion. We are now at trustee comments, I believe, and this is something else that you have, Mary Jo. Okay. Who wants to go first? Oh, good.
Shop.
Yes, I am. Usually I'm bragging, kicking and screaming.
Yeah, I just, want to thank the board and especially Mary Jo, you just do a phenomenal job and I'm glad you got a chance to get away to just kind of unwind. Hopefully that time will come again.
Good. Anything else? Okay, Linda?
Just one thing about the snowy, cold weather where you have to stay inside, you do get a lot of reading done, or at least I did. So that was one nice thing.
Yeah.
Sitting in front of the fireplace with tea or coffee and reading a good book, it doesn't get much better than that. It's with my dog at my feet.
I'm kind of an avid walker and my favorite thing is to walk and to listen to a book.
Oh, that's good.
And so that's kind of my thing, getting outdoors and just listening to a book as I'm walking.
Do you use Audible?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's
I
pretty,
have it
pretty
on
relaxing.
Alexa now. I have it on Alexa, so Audible reads the book and I have the book and I just follow
Yeah.
it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Well, I think we segue from Linda to Dan.
You know, as I get more and more involved, I guess, with the library, I've become more and more kind of in tune with some of the activities that go on in the library, and I have to say, I'm really impressed with what I see here, especially the grandparent story time. I mean, I don't know who thought of that, but I think that's great. I really do. I mean, I know my kids loved story time at the library, and they loved their grandparents reading them. And I know I grew up with my grandparents reading to me. And so, you know, it's kind of a special thing. So, but anyways, all the activities are really nice.
Thank you. John and Tanya.
Tanya.
So my comment, well, first of all, congratulations, good to see you here.
Yes.
I missed you last month, so it's my opportunity to welcome you to the board. But kind of piggybacks on what you said, I was looking at the director's report and there's like a 200% increase, 100% increase on the internet usage by our youth and teen patrons. And I'm like, you know, it just makes you really feel like you're providing a service. And it may have been because of the power outages, you know, people were coming here and, you know, they were able to do that, but it just kind of makes you feel good that, you know, you were able to do that, you know, for the community. Because a lot of people probably just didn't have any other choice but to do that. You know, and I'm glad we have that. And we have the space for it.
Thank you. John, bringing up the
Joe,
rear.
when does the fiscal year start here?
July first,
Say again?
July 1st.
Since July 1st, we've had 79,000 visitors and 166,000 people check, materials being checked out. I find that amazing. Amazing compared to the other library. Just, we predicted this would happen and it was happening. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, trustees. And this go around, I don't have much in terms of chair comments other than gratitude to the library because I was one of the population, one of our population who had to come over here and seek warmth. And it really, though, it turned into a real good community time, a chance to talk to some of my neighbors that all winter I hadn't seen them, and you know, and I'm always urging them to come to the library, so it did my heart good to see so many people in here. Always, you know, I'm in and out all the time, but again, as we already said, that was a special service and I really appreciate it. And it's not even 8:30 yet. John?
Hey, Joe. Anything to say? No? Madam Chair,
Yes,
I
John.
make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
It has been
Second.
moved and seconded that the meeting be adjourned. No debate. This meeting is adjourned.